your destination.
What's up, guys? Here with another episode of First One Dies podcast. We are here with Jay from Terminus Hate City Records.
What's up, y'all? My name is Jay Crash with Terminus Hate City Records. It's a record label management company in Atlanta. We do like artist development and stuff like that. Like we also run events and everything. So yeah, we just had like the little 5 Points summer concert series with Sid Howell Presents. Do that this past summer, and that was pretty.
That was awesome.
We really appreciate y'all having us on there as well, man. On that show,
That was a huge success, man.
Huge success.
Yeah.
And you know, Left to Suffer killed it at the end of it. I'm like,
Yeah,
bro,
dude,
yes,
yeah.
this is just a good homie fest, if that makes sense. You know,
Okay.
it was awesome. I'm really glad that was put together.
We definitely want to do more of those for sure. Like with as a community thing, you know, like for Atlanta and showcasing Atlanta talent, Atlanta music and everything, you know. So, but we also brought in, you know, other big names and stuff. So, that's what it's, you know, kind of about. We're put on a music festival that's independent, but, you know, at the same time, like geared towards a larger audience and larger, you know, like just brand and exposure, I guess, of our like little underground scene.
Right. Yeah, you could really tell the lineup was very well curated. I'm not sure who all was responsible for the lineup specifically, but it was just cool. You know, all the people on there we already knew. You know, we played shows with, have good connections with. So, you know, just seeing that, and you know, being behind the scenes, you know, as a local band ourselves, you know, we just see the people that are putting in work, and those people, you know, were on that show. You know, every it was 3 of them or 4.
We had 4
4 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all 4 of them, man. Awesome lineups. Awesome lineup.
Yeah, because it was 3 initially, and then it was always meant to be 4, and then we announced 3 initially, and then had like a 4th one that we like added on just because it was, you know, it ended up being such a good thing. You know, but,
Right.
You know, and on that note, the curation, Left to Suffer curated their day pretty much entirely, and then the other 3 days, Sid and I just like sat down and like fucking hammered it out. We just like, you know, thought of pretty much everybody that could be on there. And like Cody from Dark Sales added in. Like, so yeah, it's like added in some
Hell yeah,
stuff,
dude.
you know, names and shit like that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, Taylor told me that they were responsible for a lot of the lineup that day. We're good friends with Taylor.
They put together pretty much I think literally, I guess Violent System was the only band that was like added on there that wasn't like a, you know, LTS, like what initial.
Yeah, shout out to Left to Suffer, man. Thank you guys for you know, looking out for the boys, man. Taylor Barber's a good friend of ours. Well, our last band that we were in was with Taylor Barber and Imperishable.
You know, he's definitely stepped up, and I'm glad to see where he's at right now.
Fucking proud of all of them boys, man. They're killing it, dude. Hell yeah, dude. So when was Terminus Hate City founded?
I started Terminus Hate City in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
Single-handedly?
Yes. Like initially I started it pretty much like by myself, but it was always like I approached Ryan Buck from the get-go and asked him if he, you know, it worked out like he was doing some like a solo project and kind of putting like a little solo thing together. He's Awaken the Ancient was the band that he was in, and at the time, so we kind of had a plan to like bring them on. They eventually like did some, like, I think released a single through us, and then but anyways, like Ryan Buck and I've been kind of working together from the very beginning, and so then I guess like brought him on, you know, as a more involved you know, just like having more responsibilities and shit like that. So we're just kind of like working, trying to do you know, figure out where, I guess, you know, our role in like the, you know, Atlanta scene is, which it's always kind of just like we've filled whatever role that needs to be, you know, whether it be like promoting or, you know, just, I don't know, putting on shows or et cetera, you know, we've kind of just like, I guess, filled
Right.
certain voids that need to be there to like make our scene grow. But I mean, at the same time, it's not just us. Like there's never been like, you know, it's not just us at all. Like there's just always like a bunch of people, you know, people working behind the scenes and doing a bunch of shit. So, you know, yeah, I don't want to make it seem like we're just like the only ones out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, we've definitely, the numbers don't lie, man. You check out Terminus City's stuff, man. You guys are doing great things for the scene. And, you know,
Definitely.
especially bands like us, man, we definitely appreciate that, you know, whether we're involved with the label or not, man. Like, you know, it's a good thing. Community building is important for this stuff, you know. I've always said there's powers in numbers. You know what I'm saying? For as far as success overall as a scene, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the scene, so like, where do you see the scene going in the future? Like, how do you see what direction you think?
I know that's a kind of tough question. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking
I mean, that's a great question. That's something I pretty much I ask a lot of like bands and whoever. I write for Record Plug magazine, so I ask bands that question all the time because I like to know their insight and what they think, because I think that if everything continues on the trajectory that it's been going, that, you know, and not like another pandemic doesn't happen or whatever, but you know, I think if everything's like going the way that it's been going in Atlanta, like we'll see a very healthy, like continued growth of our music community, and not just like the metal scene, but like, you know, kind of like rock and punk and hardcore, because I see them all kind of blending together and creating like this sort of synonymous community that like everybody's coming out to shows. We try to do all ages shows where we can, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out, but like, you know, we try to do that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a very inclusive scene and everybody wants to be a part of it, you know, whether you're like a quote unquote metalhead. I mean, that was something, I guess, you know, I guess we saw a lot of that too with the, you know, with the L5P Fest, and doing that was just seeing a lot of people that aren't just metalheads coming out to the festival, and seeing a lot of people that just kind of like hang around in Little 5 Point, just coming to check out like, you know, our like metal scene kind of, you know, specifically. And that was, like,
that's a cool feeling.
So.
Yeah, definitely it is.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, dude. So as far as Terminus City goes, like, what are some qualities that you guys look for in bands when it goes to choosing, you know, who you work with and all that?
Pretty much. So there's a bunch of different factors that go into that. Like, I like, you know, a lot of it is music, you know, obviously like what I prefer musically and in that sense. So, but there's a lot of other factors that I pay attention to, such as like how a band works, like within their own like kind of community and scene. And that's really easy to, you know, assign a lot of Atlanta bands because they're just geographically close to home. And I mean, I can see the way that they work and see like how they, you know, build up an audience and build up, you know, like connection with their fans and stuff like that. And so I can kind of, you know, see that, whereas like, and also know, you know, the people that I'm working with on a more personal level. But like, that doesn't, you know, that's not to say that I work with a ton of other bands that are not just in Georgia, you know, and not in Atlanta and stuff like that. So that's definitely not like, you know, what I necessarily look for, but I do like really want to cultivate like a, you know, a emphasis on like local music and supporting local music. So there is a lot of like, I guess when it comes down to it, you know, there's a lot of Atlanta bands that I work with and want to work with more, because I see that being healthy for like our scene and like work, you know, pretty much building our pocket into like, you know, a bigger and bigger spot on the map, so to like with rock and metal and stuff like that, you know. I mean, it already is on that map, so I mean, but it's just not as much so as like New York or LA or something like that, you know, or like Nashville and shit like that. So I mean, it's definitely, I guess we deserve that, you know. I mean, we have so much talent here, and we have so much talent that's like, you know, gone up and gone down through the years because of like not having enough resources or enough like spotlight on like our scene as a whole here. So I guess with that being said, you know, like there's a lot of bands that have reached out and that I listen to and that I think are fucking, you know, badass and that I would like to sign, you know, pretty much in an instant. But then at the same time, like just, I mean, also just taking note of the fact that I'm just like pretty much like, you know, one person and like kind of doing a lot of shit at once. So it's like kind of making sure that I don't like get stretched too thin.
Right.
Knowing that like, oh man, even if I'd fucking sign a band, it's like, I don't know if I can, you know, just personally, it's like, yeah, well, you know, I'm down to work out some shit, but, you know, at the end of the day, I don't want to do nobody wrong, or like, you know, mess anybody's like shit up or put them on hold or hold them off or whatever, you know, cause I mean, you know, sometimes like, I mean, life happens, you know, it's like shit happens and sometimes we go through, you know, unplanned things and then you just gotta roll with the punches at that point, you know, and there's not really any stopping. You can't stop the fucking roller coaster once it's going, you know, and
absolutely
like ride it out. But like, yeah, I mean, that was a long-winded answer to that question.
No, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're
it's
good.
a complex question.
Like fucking at the end of the day, if you play heavy metal, hardcore punk, you know, and you fucking play it well and you you know, have like a positive, you know, overall like just outlook and you're dedicated to your craft as a musician, then that's something that I look at and pay attention to more than anything. So
that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
So what are your favorite bands that you're working with now?
Oh man.
I know there's probably a lot. I know. I mean, but
because I love all the bands that I work with. Honestly, like it's, I mean, bands that are like not even on, you know, technically on the label and shit like that. Because it's like I definitely feel like Terminus 8 City is more than just, you know, it's more than just like the bands that are on the label. It is like it is representative of like underground, you know, local music, like stuff like, you know, just things that are part of our community that will be part of our community long after we're gone, you know what I mean? Like, so, like the bands that I really like working with right now, I mean, I always love Slug Crust. So like, I always have to give them a shout out.
Hell yeah.
They're from South Carolina, but, they're just such like good human beings and like always like super humble. Like they always just throw the fuck down. One of the best like stage performance bands that I've ever seen. Like, you know, I mean, they're grindcore, but it's like they're so much more than that. And they've released so much music since they started. Like, so it's just they did like their debut album with Prosthetic Records, which was pretty big. And then we've pretty much worked with them on just about every other EP that they've released. So, but yeah, Slug Crust, Crypt has been with us since the fucking beginning. So like, those are also my boys. I love them very dearly. And they're from Augusta. They're, definitely, they've honestly cultivated such a massive scene down there by themselves that it's been so impressive to watch them. Like all their fucking, anytime they put out new music, it's like they have like a packed out room, sold out show, you know, like, so it's just, they have such a really strong scene down there. And it's a very different, like, it's, you know, like kind of like a hardcore deathcore, like, you know, so like Crib being like a kind of like black and thrash band, you know, it's I don't know, it's funny to see them like all work together, I guess, you know, like still build such a like really positive community. But yeah, so I love the fuck out of Crypt. And then,
well, shout out to them. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, shout out to Crypt for sure. And yeah, man, I mean, there's trying to think of the releases. Obviously Yosemite and Black, you know what I mean?
Dude,
they're like,
they've been killing it, man.
They just have been absolutely destroying the game and like bringing a lot of people up with them too. And I mean, and just watching, I mean, whether it necessarily is anything to do with them directly or not, but like, you know, whatever the case is, there's so many bands that are just also blowing up at the same time, like Actus Reus, you know, and they're not on the label, but like watching them blow up. And then like, you know, I guess Silly Goose was like just fucking, you know, they played recently to get, was that the Masquerade? Was it Silly Goose, Actus Reus, and I mean, all those bands just played, you know, in Atlanta very recently. So, but I mean, I don't know, just watching Yosemite and Black kind of rise up in real time. That's been,
I love their stage presence,
insane stuff. Cause I've you know, we've watched them just like play through the years. They had like a music video shoot at the Drunken Unicorn before they were even on the label. Like at one of our shows, like 2 years ago or something, maybe more than that. But like, I don't know, just watching them, you know, kind of rise and like just grind and like take the right, you know, steps, the right moves and everything like that. That was kind of when I first started to take note of them and just like how much they really worked and honestly just how fucking heavy they are like live, you know. And so they were kind of a little different, like branching out into like more like hardcore realm than we had previously with the label. But it was obviously a really good move. But I mean, it wasn't like intended as a move, so to speak. It was just like, damn, these guys really fucked. They're fucking, you know, putting in the work. They got a great fucking live performance. They obviously have great riffs. Like, so, you know, it just kind of came out to be like a no-brainer kind of thing when it came to working together. But then, you know, now it kind of snowballed into something that like became bigger than anybody in the band or, you know, any of us really expected to you know, hit off this fast. So I mean, they've just been doing some great things for Atlanta too, and like bringing, you know, just the Atlanta name out there, fucking going to Europe in 2025.
We saw that. That's really,
and got some
that's awesome.
Other things that I can't really announce yet, already planned for 2025.
I got you. We just have to be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. No, it's all good.
That's awesome. They hit over 1 million on LCY, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the first video of LCY that hit over 1 mil. So
video on there ever?
Yeah. Yeah, that was their first LCY's first video.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was some big shit. And I mean, just shout out to LCY Media, you know, in Birmingham.
Absolutely. And they did a great job.
Just really cultivating an awesome, I mean, they've been doing a lot of like really cool stuff too, like with their scene. I mean, they have a venue. They
we have
shoot music
there,
videos basically.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah. November 23rd.
Yeah, November 23rd. Yeah, we have a show.
Double shout out, triple, whatever. However many shout outs. Inception. It's a shout out Inception.
Oh man.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, we're really excited. We had a lot of fun shooting our music video out there. He's super easy to work with, man.
Did y'all put that out already?
Yeah,
it's already did.
Yeah, you can check it out in our music video playlist. Go check it out, man. Super fun experience. Super easy to work with. He's a vocalist for Gimmick, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Dude, they're killing it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they are killing it, dude. Yeah, I really.
He does the same thing that like with LCY basically that I do with Terminus 8 City, which has always been like, you know, kind of to like create like cultivate a thing for my own music, my own project, and stuff like that. And it's like which is when is this coming out?
This podcast, probably next Sunday.
Yeah, next Sunday. Yeah,
okay, cool. All right, cool. So I can say the name. It's Celestial Death is the name of our, because we changed the name of the band. So it's like, I just had to make sure we haven't announced it yet, so we're gonna announce it. But yeah, whatever.
Okay, cool.
You know, but
you do the vocals and play guitar, correct?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It was Imperi, but we're changing it to Celestial. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Like, well, that's what's up.
Yeah. We're about to announce it, like pretty much with the announcement with Mosh for Tots that we're awesome. You know, because we're playing that, so we're pretty much gonna like. Yeah, so that's been kind of weird, like planning out my own like release underneath my own record label, you know. So that's been kind of like a mind fuck. Sort of like,
how long have you guys been a band?
Oh shit, like pretty much for like, oh man, like basically like 3 years, like that I've kind of had the project. So like I wrote most of the music with you know, another drummer, and I mean not with another drummer, but like I wrote all the music, and then it kind of like we put the songs together, and like with my buddy Ryan, who's also Ryan Buck is also in that band, and he's playing guitar in that band, and then we just added my buddy Storm on bass, and Matthew Carmichael is playing drums. If you know him, he plays in Nihilect. But
okay, yeah.
He's a drummer for Nihilect.
He's a sick drummer.
But yeah, oh dude, he's
sweet. Hell yeah.
And actually, funny enough, Matthew Carmichael fucking trained Yosemite and Black drummer.
No shit.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Good training. I mean,
dude, absolutely.
Dude, but no, hell yeah, that's awesome. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well done, man.
Yeah, it was wild. When he told me that, I was like, It's like, no fucking way. That's a crazy, like, small, like that.
Right.
How did that
Small world.
band, like the drummer that I just got from my band trained, I mean, you know, it's I guess train whatever, you know, taught him whatever. Whatever the terminology is.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So what's been some of your biggest supporters in cultivating Terminus Hate City Records?
So Atlanta for sure.
Oh yeah, shout
yeah.
out.
You know, shout out ATL. I mean, man, that. So let me think.
Yeah.
For starters, I mean, you know, I had a lot. I mean, I have like pretty much. There's a lot of people that kind of came together to bring about the foundation of Terminus Hate City that I should mention, like Nick Adams. He was kind of like, he helped out with a lot of the artwork from the get-go, and then Chris Capek was kind of had like a studio at the time that we worked with. So like there was a lot of like I guess like, you know, we were able to do things in-house from the get-go that really helped bring THC like I don't know, to basically like a serious playing field, you know, like we had whatever we needed, you know, right there in house sort of. So like, right. I mean, there was like, it didn't really pop off right immediately, you know, there was like a few years and like COVID happened, and, you know, so like there was just a bunch of like, there was kind of like a few like dark years, so to speak. And then just like right outside of COVID is just like when it really started to take off and really like kind of build in a big way. And I mean, really, I just kind of tackled like the social media presence a lot more, and like started utilizing like a lot of like just a lot of shit that I had already done, and, you know, like kind of shows that I already put on, and like you know, the music that I released with Ryan Buck, or that Ryan Buck released, you know, through the label and stuff like that. So I mean, utilizing a lot of those, and then kind of just putting the label back out there in a like very just like pervasive manner, just like hitting it hard with the social media, and finally like getting a bunch of bands, like, you know, basically like putting out that my books are open, you know, for like submission, you know, submit, right. You know, as a band, whatever. And so I started to get other bands from actually other bands that weren't in Atlanta started to like kind of become interested and submit some music. And then and of course, like, I mean, I approached like a bunch of bands in Atlanta, like Awaken the Ancient and Control the Devastator, and then like Crypt, who aren't in Atlanta, but they played the Catacombs at the time. Played like basically like a DIY house venue.
Yeah, we just played there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
like a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Kind of crazy fucking place. But you know, they played there, and my buddy Laramie, my buddy Doc, we were just like hanging out inside the house, and I mean, he's such a chill dude, but like we were just hanging, and like all of a sudden he was just like, oh man, this band Crypt, these are my buddies from Augusta. Like he just got very serious, you know. I was like, we got to go see them, they're playing, you know. Walked out back, you know, because just like checked them out, and I was like, damn, this band is just such a fucking thrashing band. From so that was Crypt, and that was my introduction to them. But they just were immediately supportive, like of the whole thing, of the whole vibe. So like it kind of brought a lot of I guess the scene together, you know, in a way that really was supportive from the get-go. Again, like just with the Awaken the Ancient dudes, a lot of people that I've known for a very long time in Atlanta, and, you know, with certain like venues and promoters and like people that have studios and stuff like that, you know. So I mean, we kind of just utilized all those things to our advantage, and like kind of pulled all of our resources together, and just figured out what we didn't have, you know, and like what we needed and shit like that. You know, it's like, okay, we're a record label, so we need to make vinyl. We got to figure out like someone to like partner to, you know, work with manufacturing, and like, you know, just other little things, and PR and shit like that, you know, kind of putting that together. And I mean, it's still such a like uphill battle all the time. Like, you know, it feels like
I had some wins and ups and downs. So that's just how it goes. I guess that's just life in general. I just gotta accept it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But
for sure.
No, man, you've been doing a really good job, and we've just been seeing a lot of recognition, and these bands that you've been putting on, they're just incredible. Like you said, Yosemite and Black, and they're in Europe? they're doing the Europe.
Yeah, we. What show was that? It's a festival. Or?
Yeah, they're playing Copenhagen. It's
okay,
in,
Copenhagen,
okay.
Denmark.
Denmark.
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah, so we're trying to work out like a little, some kind of run surrounding that, you know.
Right.
But Europe is you know, it's a different beast. So like,
Yeah,
you know, but
sure.
they need to be there. I mean, that's like definitely a breakout. You know, they got the fucking, we got the way over there, you know. So
Right.
it's like we're gonna be over there. We're gonna make the most out of our time, you know. And I mean,
As
I
you
think
should,
like
yeah.
any band should do that, even if it comes down to like, you know, like as long as you don't like come out like any kind of crazy, you know, insane amount of money or whatever. But like even if it's like, you know, you break even or some shit like that, you know, at the end of the day, if you have an opportunity to do that, you know, and get your name out there over there, like that's a different world, you know. It's a
Right.
different market. It's just a different market, you know.
Right.
Playing.
Yeah, that definitely reminds me, man. I'd love to touch on that subject of like marketing. Like, what is some of your advice for bands coming up like us? You know, as far as marketing, especially on the streaming platforms specifically.
The streaming platforms, definitely slow release stuff. Like if you're trying to put out an album or any kind of music right now, like the best way to do it is just like really hit home with like slow release, like, you know, release a single, put out a music video, you know, and kind of just like rinse and repeat. And I mean, but like you got to do it like, especially working the algorithm, tricking the algorithm especially is like, well, not really tricking, it's just understanding it, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, it just feeds off of like consistent content. And I mean, like you don't necessarily have to like, you know, pump out songs or whatever, but just, you know, if you have an album, don't just fucking put it out there. Don't just like drop the album, like put out, you know, just like single music video, drop some playthrough videos in between, you know, drop like just like stretch it out. There's so much, you know, talk about your music, talk about your lyrics, connect with people, drop some merch, drop some new merch, you know, like there's not really a limit to any of the things that you can do. But at the end of the day, like, you know, when your album's out there, it's out there. And I mean, like a lot of anybody that is gonna any PR company, like PR companies are like, as bands, you can, you know, you don't have to have a record label to like work with a PR company. You can approach PR companies and you can pay them the fucking money. Like, but like, you know, you pay them the money. But at the end of the day, like if you don't have your plan as an artist, you know, you can't just go like, hey, I have an EP, I'm going to drop it in a month. What can you do? Because they're going to be like, that's gonna be like $2,000, and you know, yeah, you're gonna blow your fucking wad, and like, you know, and you can do that, like whatever, you know, but like, unless you're at a certain level, some bands that works perfectly fine, you know, but they're at a certain level and that they already have a fan base that goes, oh shit, you're dropping an album in a month? Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, we're fucking all in, you know?
Hell yeah.
Like every person, but that, you know, it takes a while to get there. And even bands that like, even some bands that where it seems like they might be there, they're not there yet. You know, that's why they're still out there fucking hustling, fucking like getting any show opportunity, you know, that they can, you know, and that's why you see some bands like that, you know, are on some lineups that doesn't make sense. Like, but they're on those lineups and they're fucking, cause they're grinding it out, you know. They're like, fuck these bands that we're playing. We're gonna fucking play this show and get that fucking paycheck.
Exactly.
And put our, you know, they're doing it smart. But like, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'd say, you know, the best like marketing strategy is really just like, I mean, set a business plan, like write out a 6 to 12 month business plan. That is something that, you know, take pretty much just schedule it out and just like, you know, say like, one single takes up 6 weeks of that 6 month schedule, and you just block out that, you know, 6 weeks of like, all right, under those 6 weeks, you know, you're gonna fucking, you know, promote it with a music video, promote it with the playthrough video, promote it with some new photos, promote it with a maybe live show, you know, maybe live tour, something like that, you know. Typically like a tour would be something that you'd like surround like a support with an album release, but like you can do it whenever, whatever, you know, there's not really any rules, as long as it makes sense to building your momentum and keeping that momentum going upwards and not plateauing. And I mean, at the end of the day, shit is going to plateau. It's going to hit a plateau and then it's going to go down, you know, and that's just kind of, that's how it is. But like, you just got to keep fucking rolling with the punches and kind of just like putting shit out there, you know? Right.
Do you utilize like paid promotions when it comes to marketing and stuff like that?
Yes. But, like Facebook and stuff. I mean, it's tricky, you know. I'd say with that, you know, definitely like set aside a very specific budget. But like it helps, but you really have to like know and like target specific things, you know. But I definitely like social media campaigns are great. I mean, they are very successful, you know. At the same time, like I guess my personal preference is like not to give Facebook and Meta like my money, but you know, at the end of the day, like it has to be done. So like, you know, when you have a new album, when you have a new show come in, like all kinds of we're good. You good? Okay. There's a massive market, a whole bunch of fucking people on Facebook. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's just what it is. And utilizing that. And I mean, I hate TikTok, but like you gotta use that too. You gotta use TikTok. Like it is what it is. But I mean, there's so many things that you can do with that. You don't have to you don't have to do dumb skits. You can literally take shit like this and like cut it up and be like, okay, like I want to talk about, you know, I don't know, however many topics we talked about in this, you know, in this little section. You just chop it up and you're like, all right, I want to post this little section today. Or like, you know, space it out, post something different, you know, for a couple of days and post another little section. You're like, okay, we talked about this today, you know, like whatever, you know, just, you can really space shit out. You don't have to like, you know, post one thing one time and then that just be the end of it. You know, I'd say that too. Repeat content, like people forget, like, you know, and also you're always reaching a new audience on social media and stuff. It's always something that like there's always someone new that you can talk to. So like that's how the algorithm is based these days. Like it's so fucking stupid. It's definitely such a headache, you know, but if you understand it, you know, it does make your life a little bit easier and you can reach a new audience and you can grow from there. And I mean, that's like it sometimes it's little by little, sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's none at all, you know, but it is growth. You'll see growth if you keep doing it.
Right. So I noticed that you invest in digital copies as well as physical. What is your opinion on, you know, still pushing that, you know, because, you know, we're kind of moving towards the direction of everything being online with streaming and stuff like that. But we kind of believe in selling CDs, you know, man, like
kind of a little bit of the new school and old school at the same time style.
Yeah. So both are really important. I mean, like we always work out with any deal that I have. It's going to be, we have digital and mechanical royalties basically. So it's like, you know, there's other shit in between, but like those are pretty much just the digital side, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, you know, whatever on that side. And then the physical side of things like, you know, vinyl and CDs and cassettes and shit like that, you know. So, you work out, those are sort of two like revenue like streams sort of. And I mean, you can do either or, but like that's, you know, some record labels will have you do just a mechanical license or something, you know, but that's not very standard. You know, they're going to want, you know, digital and the physical copies and physical side of it, or at least they're definitely going to want the digital, you know, because the digital is really where it's at, like that's like where it's at, quote unquote, you know. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff that is there's just a lot of things that I guess I've learned over the years that it's very easy for me to do, and that I can do like just through, you know, our own kind of like digital, like DSP, you know, digital service provider. And like, that's just something that, you know, I know like Spotify editorial pitches and stuff like that, you know, it just is easy that I can kind of do all in, you know, very, very quickly, you know. And like, you know, if there's, you know, 5 bands or however many bands that we have releases for, kind of just like, you know, do them all at once or whatever, you know. And it just kind of, yeah, I mean, but when it comes down to like the digital and the physical side of things, like I want more, like I wish we lived in a world that was heading, you know, more towards like, oh yeah, we like, you know, we like, you know, kind of old school vintage, like, you know, the collective stuff, you know, but at the end of the day, we, those are definitely collector's items, but you still have to be like smart about like getting that. We still live in a world that is heading towards a digital age. You know, we live in a digital age. So it's like, you still gotta be mindful of that and release everything digitally and pretty much put as much as you can into like the visual side of things as a band, and that will sell more units physically, because like also, you know, when it comes down to it, the physical media will get you more money as a band. There's more profit margin, you know, you are more in control of things. And so yeah, I mean, I love to put vinyls in the hands of bands. Like that's something that I really want to do more of, and I think it solidifies like a little place in history. You know, it's like documenting our underground scene and documenting, you know, Atlanta music, or document like whatever, you know. And it's like shit, like I don't know, anything could get erased off of the internet or whatever, you know, anything could get lost, you know, like something happened, but you know, it's like you have 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 copies of vinyl or more or whatever, you know, something like that, you know, physical media just kind of floating out there. That's like, it's a different feeling, you know, than just like, a digital, like, space or imprint, you know, that kind of takes it up. I don't know, feels a little bit more solidified in history. I don't know.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah,
as a nuclear bomb would be the fucking, you know,
yeah.
test of that.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So, as a, you know, starting a label and everything, what's been some of your biggest challenges?
A lot. Just owning a record label is a challenge.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I could imagine
owning a record label is a challenge. Honestly, I'd say like people that have literally no idea what the fuck they're talking about. So like that's been the biggest challenge, is just dealing with people that like, yeah, I mean, they think that they know. And I mean, including kind of just other bands and artists that I've been around the block. Like I've been doing this thing. I am a musician. I've been doing this shit. Like I'm from Atlanta. Like I'm from these fucking streets. Like there's so much like blood, sweat, tears, money that I have, you know, put into this game that, you know, and at this point, like, you know, I have gone way too far to ever go back, you know, like it's never, you know, but it's never been an option to like go back or to stop for me, you know. So it's definitely been those challenges kind of, I mean, money has been probably the number one challenge, just kind of for every, it's an independent label. So, I mean, really it's just everything's funded by, you know, by just like working my ass off, and, you know, my partners working their asses off, and us pretty much just like putting all our shit on the line, and, you know, being like, you know, well, hopefully this is gonna work, you know, like I think this is it, you know, just like shit like that, you know. But I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, I mean, that's really like, for me as a musician, that's kind of all that there is. Like, that's, you know, you write a song, you put, you know, it's like, you're like, all right, I think this is the one, you know. And I mean, sometimes it is, maybe it's, you know, whatever, like, so it hits differently. Sometimes it's like, you know, it'll be the song you love the most, and people are like, I don't know, man, the song that you hate the most, everybody's like, this is the one. And you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? But like, so that's just, a lot of the challenges have been, you know, kind of expecting a different reaction, and then like getting like some kind of like, I don't know, feedback or pushback or something, when I'm just like sitting here like, look, I'm doing this for the community. I'm doing this to like bring people together. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck about like, you know, different like sides of like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, let's come together for the music. Let's fucking, you know, goddamn, you know, bang our heads and fucking like run around and mosh pit and, you know, chug some beers. I don't drink, but like, you know, do that and like whatever, you know. And I mean, that's all there is to it. Like, you know, I'm kind of like in it for the rock and roll and stuff. But yeah, like there definitely has been, with the live music portion, I'd say probably like the hardest thing, to navigate, you know, cause it's such there's so many factors that go into the live music part, but it is necessary when it comes down to it. Like when it comes down to even just putting on, you know, having a record label and being like, oh, if I just want to put out records or whatever and put out like distribute music and stuff like that, it's like we would still need to approach someone to like put on an album release show or like do like other things that are, you know, that we would lose control of at the end of the day. Not us, but like, you know, our artists and shit like that, you know. And that's important for me and for like what I see, like the vision of like everybody, you know, like working together is like, it's just best if, you know, if the like-minded individual and group of like, you know, the community kind of is like teamed up, and we don't have to like really bring in any kind of like middleman or like, you know, other like fucking, you know, like corporate or like whatever, you know, someone just like trying to like basically like take, you know, out of our pockets and shit. And if we can like kind of do that completely on our own and create like a self-sustained culture, then that's like something that, you know, everybody will be able to fucking eat at the end of the day off of our music and art and shit. So
oh yeah,
absolutely, dude. Hell yeah. So for Terminus Hate City, what is your legacy, man? Like what do you want your label to be remembered for?
For putting out the best underground music, the best fucking music, really.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Know, trying to put out like the fucking absolute, you know, just I want our legacy to be that we are the next label that brings heavy and underground and, you know, hardcore punk music to the forefront of the world, you know.
Yeah.
I think that Atlanta has what it takes. I think that the East Coast has what it takes. Like, we work with so many different music. I think the underground metal has what it takes. Like, we've never seen, you know, a better time in the history of like heavy music, heavy rock music, like whatever kind of like genre, you know, you want to classify it under. We've never seen such a growth, you know. It's pretty much as big as fucking pop music these days. Like, it's literally like, you know, and it's pretty crazy to see. Like, so as long as like, I'd say that's absolutely 100% the legacy that we want to kind of put out, is like, no matter what we do, like, you know, it's going to be genuine. It's going to be genuine music, and it's going to be, you know, music for musicians. It's going to be a label for musicians by musicians and shit like that. You know, we're going to always be for the musician, like always be artist first, you know.
Absolutely.
So that's our legacy.
Absolutely, dude. I love it.
That's awesome, man. Y'all, like I said, y'all are doing a hell of a job.
Yeah,
for real. I mean, these bands that y'all been putting out, like, wow. I mean, y'all are putting me on some new shit. That's on my playlist every day.
Hell yeah,
you know?
that's awesome.
I mean,
awesome,
I'm like,
man.
all right, now I can wake up and go to fucking work.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's so sick.
Yeah,
that's
bro.
always like, that's you know, that's what I have always wanted for, like, you know, for the next generation to see them coming up, and, you know, to want to be a part of that. And like, something that was so hard for me to find as like a kid growing up in Atlanta, that shouldn't have been hard to fucking find. Like, as like a kid, as a 15-year-old with a, you know, or like younger than that, I was like 10 years old, you know, like with a guitar in my hand, being like, you know, I want to, like, you know, it's like, it should have been as hard as it was, you know, to find a place for me to grow in my career as a musician. I had to fucking fight for that shit, you know what I mean? Like, I had to do a lot of shit, and a lot of shit, you know, and not just me. I'm not the only one, you know, but there's a lot of people, you know, that come after us, that come after me, you know, that I think that we will hopefully pave an easier way for them, you know, to get their name out, to get out there, you know. And, I mean, I will say, going forward in the future, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to be an artist and to be an independent artist at that. But like, you know, at the same time, I think that we have seen a lot of like pretty, like, you know, revolutionary things with art coming through, you know, the culture recently. So that's like just something that is always to, I guess, be hopeful and, you know, mindful of in the future and shit like that. But
that's awesome.
That is just to take note of, you know, technology, AI and shit. It's not going to make it easier.
No, it's just going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to artwork, man, what's some of your favorite artists to work with?
I work with so Jim Bob Cooter is like he's a fucking amazing artist, and he plays in Nominat. And There's so I think John Dyer is just he is in Baroness, and he's an amazing artist, and he's done a bunch of different artwork for a bunch of different bands, like I don't know, like Black Tusk and obviously Baroness, but like a bunch of different bands. So like he's a really sick artist. Man, there's like there are a few artists that I'm kind of spacing on the names of right now, but yeah, I feel bad, but Jim Bob is the man for sure. He's done so much of our artwork this whole year. He's just been so on it, like really, really, really fucking sick, dude.
Right. Yeah. You saying talking about AI just reminded me to bring that up, because I would hate for AI to take over, take away from artists like that, because that's never going to die, no matter how big AI gets. That's something that comes from the heart and the soul. So yeah, we got to keep that shit alive, man.
Yeah. Future.
Support your local artists for sure.
Yeah, fuck AI.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So do you have any upcoming projects that you can talk about that you're excited for?
Yes. So, well, we have a couple bands. I can't really say. Like we have a couple bands that are like signing to the label. A couple like releases that we already have planned for 2025. But I can definitely talk about my band stuff. So
awesome! Yeah, let's hear that, bro.
Celestial Death's first single is going to be coming out on Friday, December 13th, which will be the day before Mosh for Tots. We'll be playing Mosh for Tots, which is December 14th, and that's going to be at Atlanta Utility Works. And yeah, so but yeah, our first single is Anti-Preacher, and that's the artwork was done by Jim Bob Cooter, and so he just did an amazing job. And then we got a logo done by Mike Mikowski. I hope I'm saying your last name right, dude. I'm sorry, I love you, like for real. But yeah, but anyways, he's doing our logo. So like we're about to get that back in hand, this week, and we're kind of just putting everything together. We're shooting our first music video on November 5th on Election Day at like, I don't know, we have a couple locations and stuff. So okay. the song is Anti-Preacher. The title of it is Anti-Preacher. So it's gonna be kind of like a it's black metal, so it's gonna be in like a church, and
hell yeah,
blood on.
My lady always got me into black metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like Black and Death. I mean, very like Behemoth meets like Wolves in the Throne Room kind of thing. But then Matt and Ryan are both they have very diverse playing styles and stuff. So I mean, it's definitely it's black metal, but it's a lot more than that too. So it's we're really excited about it, and that's our first single. And we have like a whole like we have other songs after that are going to be dropped. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Air of mystery, but
we're very excited. And December 14th is that show, correct?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Mosh for Tots. Yeah. That's Dark Sales Entertainment, and my boy Tim Jones. Shout out Tim Jones, who's the saint of the Atlanta metal scene. But yeah. So like that's pretty much. And then Sid Howell Presents and myself THC. We're helping out with that. Just kind of promoting it. Yeah. Fucking working together.
We would definitely be there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. So is there to kind of wrap this thing up, is there any like final things you want to plug in, any shout outs, anything like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. Shout out to Record Plug if you like want any kind of information or anything on the Atlanta metal scene. Well, not just the metal scene, Atlanta music scene in general. Record Plug is free. It's a magazine, and it's like one of the only in-print magazines literally still in existence. And I mean, it's but they are based in Atlanta, here in Atlanta, and distribute here in Atlanta and Athens. And so it's just a great, I don't know, like it's free to pick up. So I mean, might as well find a copy. They're pretty much all over like certain establishments in Atlanta, like East Atlanta, the Earl, and like, I don't know, just kind of, probably like Criminal Records and Little 5 Points and shit like that, places like that. So you can pretty much find that. And then, shout out to Dark Cells Entertainment. Shout out to Sit Out Presents.
Yes, much love to Dark Cells.
Much love to Dark Cells.
For sure.
By the way,
shout out. By the way,
Cody's
really right
he's
there.
here.
The eye contact we all just made when we mentioned Dark Cells.
Yeah, we're like, yo.
We had to.
Did he notice?
Hell yeah. Yeah, well, I definitely want to thank you again, man. This is definitely important to us, community building and, networking, reaching out, creating a foundation and open doors for anything that the future might hold. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys. You and Dark Cells, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it takes, dude. We're all putting in a lot of work. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we just want to fucking like sit back and goddamn play cool riffs and like go on stage and goddamn, fucking do cool shit. But, at the end of the day, it does take a lot more work than that. Like, you got to fucking hustle. You got to like put your shit out there. And if you're not, then you're just a fucking entitled brat and you don't deserve to be there. So that's what I got to fucking say about that.
Damn.
So,
No, I mean, hey, is right.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, hell yeah,
man. Well, all right, dude. Well, that wraps it up for this one.
Shout out to Jay.
Thank
you for having us out.
So much, brother. Thank you so much.
And shout out for Dark Cells.
Yeah, shout out Dark Cells
for helping
us out to make this possible. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Peace out, guys.